All right, so my name is Eddie Ingram. I am the recruiting manager here at KKW. I've been here for about 5 years. I started out as a driver. I ran over the road. I did local. Then I came into this class and started facilitating the orientation. And then I switched over to recruiting manager. I just want to tell all you guys in the room, we have a great opportunity right now to get more and more of a benefit from this career here at KKW than any other company because it's an ESOP company. Do you guys know what ESOP stands for? If you don't, it's an employee stock ownership plan. It is basically a retirement plan. It's not a situation where you guys are gonna be on board with us for a year or two and then cash out and then go buy you a trucking company. It's a longevity thing. So the longer you stay here, the more your stocks are gonna be worth, the more stocks you're gonna receive. So I'm gonna just go through the basics of it right here. I'm gonna give you guys as much as I have on the ESOP. If you have any questions, please feel free to ask questions. I like participation because I don't feel like I'm in here by myself. So if you have any question, feel free to ask as long as it's pertaining to the slide we're currently on. I don't want to keep you guys longer than you should be here. You already been here longer, 10 minutes longer than you should be already. So again, if you have any questions, please feel free to ask any question as long as it's pertaining to the slide. If it's not pertaining to the slide, please hold the questions to the end of the class so we can get everybody through it and get everybody out. So I'm gonna read over this PowerPoint here and I'm gonna kind of emphasize on some of the key pieces of it. Employee stock ownership plan, ESOP, is a company-sponsored retirement plan similar to a 401k with important differences. So they're similar in some ways, but different in other ways. 401k, you're invested in Wall Street. ESOP, you're invested in a company and you don't pay a dime. You don't contribute anything. You can't buy shares. The only way you can receive shares is being employed here. If you end up leaving the company, you cannot leave the company with the shares. We'll buy the shares back from you guys. I'll explain a little farther. Contributions are made to the employee, not an employee purchase or out-of-pocket expense. So you can't purchase any stocks even if you wanted to. All you have to do is hard work, longevity, you'll receive allocations of shares for that year. The plan must be invested. The plan invests in the company, not in Wall Street. You're not investing in Wall Street, like I said before. You guys are investing in the company, and you're not in sense investing with your money. All you're investing with again is your time, long, hard work. And we just had a meeting about a month ago, and they went over this with us. And the CEO now, who used to be the COO, he kept saying, what is it gonna take for us to grow this company? And everybody kept saying hard work, but he kept saying harder work. So that's what it's gonna take. It's gonna take harder work, it's gonna take growth. We need to grow. So when you guys see drivers out there, recruit them, talk to them, tell them about the company, tell them the things you do like about the company. We don't want you guys lying to drivers just to get drivers to come on board, but let's help us build the company, and we build by growing the company. Why'd he do it? This is something that Mr. Firestone wrote. I never read it. I usually just paraphrase it, but I am going to read it today since we are recording it for, you know, the remote locations and things like that. You do have a copy of it. If you want to come back and read it later, feel free. The reality is KKW Trucking was built by a team of hardworking, committed men and women. And if I was to get any credit for our successful journey, then it would be only I was able to recruit and train most of these amazing individuals. The time has come for me to step aside. And although, sorry, a little nervous. And the thought of turning the company over to the very people that helped me build it is a dream come true. I truly believe that when the notion sinks in, that each of our team members are truly owners, they realize that we will directly benefit from their extra efforts, then the sky becomes our only limit. The sky is the limit. That's a true statement. This is from Mr. Firestone. I couldn't come up with a better way to say thank you. So this is his way of saying thank you to all of us because he feels like the company was built by the employees that are here, which it has been. So I tell everybody to pay homage to the drivers that have been here 20 and 10, 20, 30 years. We have admin that have been here 35 years. We truly have to pay homage to those people because we wouldn't be in this situation if it wasn't for them. I'm truly Sarah Sherman, safety manager, has been here over 10 years. Eileen's been here about 15 years. These are the people who built the company. So when Mr. Firestone here, he said, I am not gonna turn this company over to another company. I'm actually turning it over to the employees that's here. Now, we are hearing some negative things from drivers, and Mr. Benioff really gets upset when he hears the negative thoughts that people are having. Drivers are saying, oh, he's only selling the company because we had to switch over to ELD. He's only selling the company because the company is going out of business. I want to tell everybody in this room something that a lot of you guys probably don't know. When companies go ESOP, they borrow money from the bank to pay the previous owner off. Mr. Firestone is holding a note. He is the bank. He believes in this company so much, he is holding a note. So we should just pay nothing but homage. It is truly a gift. This is not a scam. It's not a gimmick. It's not a get-rich plan. It is truly a gift from his heart. And I even asked him, I said, why'd you do it? Because me, personally, I love people, but I am not going to sell my company to him when I get 70-something years old. I'm going to go live on an island. That's me personally. I'm being honest. So I pay a lot of homage to Mr. Firestone for doing what he did. It's truly an amazing thing, and we have an amazing opportunity. So I'm going to keep going so you guys know how important this opportunity is, or what type of opportunity we have. How does most ESOP companies perform? They generally outperform non-ESOP companies. So if you look here at the graph, and again, you guys have all of these slides. If you look here at the graph, this is before ESOP, this is after. The blue is employment growth. The yellow one is sales growth. So look at how much companies grow when they turn into an ESOP company. And the reason why companies grow like that, because you get drivers like yourself come on board and they feel like, you know what? This is my company. I am the owner. So you are truly an owner because you have an invested interest in the company now. So now we always hire A+ drivers. You guys know KKW don't hire everybody. Some of you guys probably referred drivers here that just wasn't a good fit for KKW. We go after the best of the best, and if you guys are sitting in this room, we feel that you are one of the best in this industry. So again, let's grow the company, let's grow like this, and I'm gonna show you what the benefit is when we grow. Participant eligibility. Now this is what you need to be eligible to enter the plan. You have to be eligible before you can be allocated shares. So I'm gonna read over this. Entry date, first day of plan year, which the employee completes 250 hours. So to be eligible to enter the plan, you have to complete 250 hours, all right? Just to be eligible. Not saying you're entering the plan, you just have to complete 250 hours just to be eligible to enter the plan. Must be 21 years old. Employees who are members of collective bargaining units, labor unions, are excluded from participation. If you are a part of any kind of labor board, labor union, you are excluded from the ESOP. And these are not rules that we created. ESOP is basically overseen by the government, a very, very strict program that the government oversees. So they write the rules of it, and those are the rules of the ESOP. So we did have one person that was doing something, and he had a second job, and on his second job he was part of a union, and that caused him not to be a part of the ESOP. So just keep that in mind. If you guys do get another job and that job is telling you to get into a union, you cannot be a part of the ESOP if you're in a union.
Hey, Eddie, 250 hours, is when you say completed, is that hours worked?
That's hours worked. Thank you for that. So 250 hours worked. When we talk about hours, those are hours worked. When you guys are out on the road, we count every hour. Every hour is being counted. That's why when you guys switch over to paper logs, it's very important that you bring your paper logs into the safety department so we can add those hours to your clock. They track every single hour, all right? Drive time, on duty time. First year exceptions, plan year 12/31/2019 only. All who were employed in at least 21 years old on September 30th, 2019 automatically enter the plan on January 1st, 2019, regardless of hire date or hours worked. 1 year of credit. Now these are for the drivers that were here last year, September 30th. Some of us didn't start the beginning of the year. Last year there's an exception for the first year. There's an exception for the first year. All you have to do is be employed September 30th. That's your exception, and you get that 1 year credit if you were employed September 30th of last year. All right? Allocations of shares. Allocations are given to participants each year who have worked at least 1,000 hours of the plan year and employed by the company on the last day of the plan year. So, all you have to do to be allocated your shares, work 1,000 hours in that year and be employed the last day of the year. That's it. So anybody who started with us, if you guys refer somebody over to us and they start with us in July, all they have to do is put in 1,000 hours and be employed the last day of the year, and they'll be allocated their shares. And allocation is just another word to be given their shares. They'll receive shares. And again, if you guys have any questions, please feel free to ask questions. R, shares are given to participants each year who, and then R, have been terminated, have terminated employment during the plan year on account of death, permanent disability, or after reaching normal retirement date. DDR. So when you guys see DDR in your paperwork, that's nothing but DDR is just death, disability, or retirement. That's what DDR is, and I'll refer to that a couple times in a slide. All right. During the first few years of the employee stock ownership plan, participants will be gifted a larger portion of shares. All right, I'm gonna read that one more time because that's very important for you guys that's here right now. If you do plan on leaving, you want to stay while the shares are accelerated. They are accelerated. You don't never want to leave. Trust me, it's a really, really good deal. But for the first few years, the shares are accelerated. Why are they accelerated? Once the company puts out so many shares, KKW turns into a tax-free company. Once we turn into a tax-free company, the sky is the limit. The sky is the limit. Then we can go out, buy other companies. We can make ourselves bigger. And that's what we want to do. We want to grow. So don't have the mindset like the more drivers we have, the more money you lose. Nah, this is not that type of situation. The more drivers we have, the more miles we run, the more money we make, the more the company value is. So that makes your shares worth more money. So this is how we grow. Shares are received based on participants' gross compensation compared to gross compensation of all eligible participants. So what they look at is how much money we paid in payroll, and then they look at what you gross, and that's how you're allocated your shares. Now I have a slide. We're going to use this slide. It's coming up soon. It's a graph. It's going to be a graph of your salary. We're going to pretend it's your salary, but it's just projection so you guys can have some idea of how it works. How does my account grow? Annual shares received. One way. Annual shares received. How do you receive annual shares? Anybody in here know? Come on, we just went over it. How do you get your shares in a year? What do you have to do in 1 year to receive shares?
1,000 hours.
1,000 hours and
Second day or something like that.
be employed the last day of the year. All right, so I'm calling somebody again. Hopefully everybody know, because I can't let anybody leave this room without having an understanding of this ESOP. And if you guys don't understand, the people that's going to watch this video won't understand as well. 1,000 hours and employed the last day of the year, and you'll be allocated your shares for that year. As an owner, my shares increase in value if the company values increase, if the company's value increase. Your shares increase in value if the company increase in value. Make sense? All right. The longer I stay with a successful company, the more value I have at retirement. The longer you stay here with the company, of course your shares are going to grow. You're going to receive more shares. The company's going to grow in value. Your shares are going to grow in value. No questions? All right. ESOP versus 401k. And good thing here, we have both. So if you're just the type of person that just enjoyed a 401k, great. ESOP, you'll be allocated shares even if you didn't want them because you're an employee here. By you being an employee here, you're an owner of the company, all right? You have an invested interest. So here, it's just a graph. And then keep in mind, when I saw this graph, I was like, oh, 350,000, 55, 64 years old, not much money. To me, that's what I thought when I saw it. But I want you guys to keep this in mind, that this slide, these statistics come from companies that are some 50% employee owned, some 40% employee owned. All of these companies that they did these statistics on are not all 100% employee owned. So we're 100% employee owned. If they would have did this graph on all 100% employee owned companies, this graph will be a lot higher, close to the $1 million number from what I'm hearing. All right, so I'm gonna just read this at the top. On average, the projected ESOP payouts are 3 to 7 times the 401k payouts in the same companies. So the blue is just showing 401k, the yellow is showing ESOP. Now you look down here, 401k kind of peaks out. Don't go too high. But look how high that ESOP is going. Because it's gonna compound on top of each other. And some of these things you have to educate yourself about. Of course, we would all have been playing the stock field if we understood stocks. So now would be a great time for you to try to build your knowledge on stocks, because you might want to go buy stocks in something else. You might want to go buy stocks in Tesla, because you have this invested interest in this company that's going to grow. You're going to have a great retirement plan. So if you start buying little shares here and there, you're going to be very, very well off. All right. Any questions on this? All right. Vesting schedule. This is very, very important that you guys understand the vesting schedule. So, years of service is on this side in the plan, and then your vesting percentage is on this side. So here, less than 2 years, you're 0% vested. Now, for everyone that was employed September 30th of last year, you're already 1 year vested. So when will you have your second year vested, everyone that was employed September 30th?
September 2020.
Nope.
Oh, the end of the year.
You got it. The last day of the year. You got it, Alex. Good job. The last day of the year. So the last day, December 31st, 2020, we will be 20% vested. For the new drivers, you'll be 20% vested next year in December. Okay? All right, you guys got it? All right, so here's just showing the vesting schedule. Less than 2 years is 0%. Now, not saying we're 0% because I was here last year, but we still receive shares.
Right.
But how much of those shares do we own right now?
10%.
Nope. Less than 2 years?
Oh, 0%.
0. Less than 2 years is still 0. So if you was employed last year, September 30th, it was a good thing because you got that 1 year credit. You received the allocations of the shares for that year, but you're still 0% vested. December 31st this year, you're going to be 20% vested. You're going to receive some more shares, and plus they're going to add it to the shares you received for last year. Make sense? All right.
So how does that work when you, okay, like for you, you've been here 5 years.
It doesn't matter. It's an equal playing field.
Okay.
It's an equal playing field. I look at it like this. This is how I explain to drivers. So we do have some drivers that are like, I've been here 20 years and it's not right. But you have to look at it like this. Be a realist. You have to look at it like this. If you owned a company and you decided to sell it, do you think you're supposed to go into your profits from years ago?
Nope.
And give up some of the profits? So that's the way it works. It had to work that way. It would have been unfair to have Mr. Firestone go sell his house in Arizona so he can give us some of our money that he made years and years ago. It doesn't work that way. Last year was the first year. So if you had 20 years or 30 years, last year was the first year. That's the only thing that matters.
Got
All right. Any other questions? All right. So second year you'll be 20%. Third year you'll be 40%. Fourth year you'll be 60%. Fifth year you'll be 80%. Sixth year you'll be 100%. So for us that was employed last year, we have 5 more years to go before we're 100%. For the new drivers, you have 6 years before you're 100%. All right. So now let's say you have $100,000. And this is a very, very high number. Let's go a little lower. Let's not do 100. Let's say you're $10,000 in and you're 20% vested. You have $10,000 worth of shares and you're 20% vested. How much of those shares do you own? How much of that 10,000 do you own?
2,000.
How much?
2,000.
Anybody?
10%.
What's 20% of 10?
Oh no, 2,000.
Yes, sir. $2,000. You have 2,000 of that 10,000. Not meaning that you don't still have that 10,000. you're only 20% vested at the moment. So once you grow to 100%, you get all of it. It's never going anywhere. You're just only 20%. Make sense? All right, great. How much you own and no one can take away. In the plan year, you must have earned 1,000 hours of service to vest. Just repeating what I already said, you have to put in 1,000 hours to receive the vesting percentage for that year. All right? And whatever you own, no one can take it away. If you're 20% vested, nobody can take it away. Termination doesn't even take it away. Nothing takes away what you already own. Now this is the slide that did it for me. It is on page 9 if anybody want to turn to it. This is a slide that kind of like put everything in perspective for me. I didn't understand none of it, and I wanted to count the money. Show me the money. Show me how I get my money, how much money I'm going to have, how long it's going to take me to get it. Now, I want you guys to keep in mind that these are projections. Now, I'm a realist, and I lay the cards on the table. I'm very transparent. That's the only way I know how to be. Now, just because our shares are showing $6.67, this is projected because our books just closed in December. So all of the accounting hasn't even been done yet. But they're projecting it because what the company did was they projected what we did the previous 5 years and just pushed it over 5 more years. So if we continue to perform like we did 5 years ago, we're in good shape. That's all we got to do is continue to perform like we did over the previous 5 years, and we're in very good shape. But if you guys are like me, I want to grow. I want to see my shares go to $100 a share, and then I have 1,500 shares. You do the math. That's what I want to see, and that is very much possible. We control our own destiny. It's on us. It's on us as a team. It's not on just Eddie by himself, because I can't do it by myself. It's a team effort. Everyone has to pull their weight. Whatever you can do to save money, do it. Do it. The less money we spend, the more money we have. It is truly our company. It's hard to have a lot of people grasp the idea, especially the younger drivers. You might be the youngest guy in the room, I think, not to pick on you or anything, but the younger drivers, just like myself, I'm 36 years old, and I'm just now starting to think about retirement. Don't wait until you get older and then kick yourself in the butt and think about retirement. You have a great opportunity to retire from this company and retire with some good money. And it's all on you, it's all on us as a whole. Everybody has to carry their weight. Don't idle the truck when you don't have to idle the truck. Don't wreck. Try your best to be on your A game. When you see things out there, help our drivers. I had a new driver came in, did the class. He saw one of our new drivers with the tandems all the way to the rear. He put him over on the road and helped him slide it. The driver said, "This is the greatest company I ever worked for because you guys are helping me and not just sitting back waiting on me to fail." And I told the driver, "You fail, we fail. We are a team. If you guys get out of orientation and you fail, when Matt and I run this class, we feel like we fail. So if anything in this class that you guys don't remember or you don't know, reach out to Matt. Anything that can hurt you, reach out to myself so we can grow and I can make sure you guys are successful. If you're successful, we're all successful." So here they had a projected of release, projected of shares released this year. So 2019, let's start with 2019. 2019, they projected to put out almost 19,000 shares. Really low the first year because the plan didn't kick off until September 30th, but they did give us that 1 year credit, even though it didn't start until September 30th. So that's why the shares are going to be so low in that year with only almost 19,000 shares. Now, we're going to use this for example like this is you. Remember, this is your pay, this is you that you're looking at. This year, you made 50 grand. You made $50,000. By you making $50,000, your allocations of shares is 45. You receive 45 shares. 1 share forfeited. 1 forfeiture share. Do you guys know what a forfeiture is? Don't worry, I got your back, I'll tell you. Forfeiture, forfeited shares are when employees leave, and let's say, David, let's say you're only 20% vested in that $10,000. That other $8,000 is going to be divided amongst the employees. It comes back to the employees. Now, not saying you want to try to get drivers to quit so you can receive more shares. That's not the way to go. Because the less drivers we have, the less miles we run, the less value the company is. So we want a lot of drivers so our shares can be worth a lot of money. All right? So this, sorry. All right, so these shares, 2019, are projected to be $6.67, which is $306. Not much, but look at just the next year, how fast it jumped. The next year, we put almost 108,000 shares out, projected. From 19,000 to 108 almost, projected shares put out. This year, you made $52,000. Remember I talked about the shares being accelerated for the first few years? Look at this. 249 shares they put out to you this year. So if you wasn't here last year, you didn't miss much, new drivers. You only missed about 45 shares on projections. Only about 45 shares. Now this year will be a big loss if you wasn't here, because you're going to lose 249 shares plus 9 forfeitures. So now, that's just next year, the end of this year. Not even next year. This year, sorry. Shares are projected to be $9.87. Just in 2 years, I have $3,000 already. $3,000. Now I'm going to go over one more, 2021, and then I'm going to jump all the way over to 2028. 2021, I'm going to go over all of them. 2021, 2022, and 2023. The shares are still accelerated. So that's what I mean by it's great time. It's like the gold rush at our company right now. It's a great time to be here. So the shares, look how they're growing. Went from $9.87 to $15.40 to $22.23 to $29.34 in 5 years. Almost $30 a share in 5 years. Look at how fast that's growing. Now look at what's in your account. From $306 to $3,003 to $8,525 to $17,853 to $30,715 to, if we go to 2024, almost 39,000. But remember I said I want to skip over, and I want to show you guys too. Remember I said the shares were accelerating? Look how they're projected to slow down in 2024. Shares put out, almost 35,000, what 34,000? A little over 34. What you received if you made 58,000, about 71. So you went from receiving the 200 numbers to receiving 71. Because now we're a tax-free company. All right, but look at 2028. Let's skip all the way over to 2028. Look what's in your account. Your share balance, $1,580. What you have in your account, almost $100,000 in 8 years. What job have you had that gave you $100,000 in 8 years?
None.
Come on now, we have a career opportunity. Really, really good opportunity. Some people in this room might not be here forever. Some people are living for now. But some of us truly understand the benefit of staying with a successful company, and we only become successful, it's up to you guys. It's up to us. It's not just on one person's back. Any questions? All right. When do I get my money? Moses, you like that one, huh? You like, when I get my money, man? Quit all this talking.
Who do you talk to?
The firstification, I can never say this word right. Participants can sell up to 25% of their shares to the trust for 5 years. When they turn 55 years old and have 10 years of active participation in the ESOP, can sell up to 50% of their, up to 50% in 6 years. So you guys can actually sell some of your shares back to the trust. No need to leave. Just put in 10 years and then you sell some percentage of your shares back to the trust. I'm not selling none of mine because you end up selling it at $30 a share and then they end up going to $60 a share. So I'm not going to sell any of my shares, but we do get in situations where we need a little cash. Well, this is some cash you can get from. You can actually sell some of your shares back to the trust. Who is the trust? The trust is an entity that sits on top of everything, that watches over everything. Our executives here at KKW don't even watch over the trust. They have a trustee that watches over the trust for us. Government program, they make sure certain people are in place. All right? So your money is well protected. Where we at? Distributions. Distributions are generally paid in equal annual installments over a 5-year period. All right. So what that mean? That the company has up to 5 years to pay you out. So that's another reason that you shouldn't be like, oh, I'm gonna take off and then I'm gonna get this money. No, because the company has up to 5 years to pay you out. All right. The next one. If termination is on account of death, permanent disability, or normal retirement, or DDR, payments commence by the end of the first plan year following the year of termination. Normal retirement is defined as separation from service after attaining age 65. All right, so when you get 65, that's normal retirement. Normal retirement, and that's what you want to shoot for. You want to shoot for the normal retirement. Let your money grow, so as soon as you retire, you can start being paid out at the end of that year. So retire. You want to retire. That's where you want to go if you can. Retire. Don't get yourself hurt out there to get the money. You want to retire to get the money. That will be your best way to get the money because you're going to enjoy the money. All right. Where we at? If termination is for any other reason, non-DDR, payments commence no later than the 6th plan year following the year of termination. So if you're terminated, the payments can commence at the end of the 6th plan year. All right, that's if you're terminated. Company may choose to pay smaller vested balances, less than 55 grand, in a single lump sum as soon as the year after termination of employment. So if they don't owe you much money, which I'm hoping that's how it's going to happen with everybody, because then that means our shares are on the up and up. So if the company holds on to your money, then you receive interest and your shares still grow. So why would a company that's doing good and on the up and up hold on to your shares? Because then they're going to have to pay out more money. So in a great situation, it's like, let's pay everybody out. Pay them out because our shares are growing, and if we pay them out, we save money. Make sense? All right, but still, company has up to 6 years to start paying you if you're terminated. Company may amend this distribution policy from time to time in a way that will be more generous or accelerated than what was set forth above. So the company can change the rules to pay you faster, but they can't change the rules to pay you longer. We can't say, oh, let's pay them over a 10-year period. No, they can't do that. But they can say, let's pay them over a 6-month period. They can choose to change it to be more generous. All right, annual reporting process. So this is the process that we have to go through to close our books and to find out what our shares are worth. And we will get our statements in the mail, just like 401k. You receive a statement letting you know what your stocks are doing. After year end, complete and close the company books. All right, that's number 1. Year end, December 31st, complete, close the books. Outside CPA firm reviews the company books to ensure accuracy. They go over the books to make sure everything is right and correct. The ESOP independent appraiser updates the company stock valuation. So they'll update what your stocks are worth. Okay, they went from $6 to $9.
So is that a government employee who does it?
That's the outside, that's the trust, that's the people that oversee what we're doing.
Okay, so the trust is a private company.
It's not a private company, they're called the KKW Trust, and we put board members on the trust.
Oh.
So it's still KKW, it's KKW Trust is the name of the trust. And then we put outside board members on the trust. All right. So third party administrator updates ESOP account and participant statements. So what they're going to do is update your statement to get it prepared to send out to you. Outside CPA firm audits ESOP account and participant statement. Participant statements distributed to participants typically late second quarter, third quarter. So second quarter, third quarter, you'll receive your statements. That's like that's like June, July. June, July, you'll receive your statements. Company pays benefit distributions to those who are currently eligible. So this is what happens when our books close out. Those people that are eligible, it's the end of the year. Now it's time to start paying who we gotta pay, close out the books, get the value of the company, start preparing those statements to send out to the drivers. Any questions? All right. Employee ownership performance cycle. Your actions have a direct impact. This is you, the blue. From your direct impact, company performance equals your reward. So our performance out there equals our reward. So again, you control your own destiny. Let's win. Let's take over. Always consider KKW to be one of the best trucking companies in the industry. When I came here, I said I was only going to be here a year. I told them that in my interview. And look, I've been here 5 years. I just enjoy the work here. And you guys are always going to see companies paying more money, always. But the grass is not always greener on the other side. You really want to do some research. Moses is a great testimonial. I think he broke the record. We're famous for rehires. This man came back probably like 3 days after he left. The fastest turnaround ever. Congratulations, you are now an employee, owner of KKW Holdings, Inc. Any questions? All right, I'm gonna just say this one more time. I know I said it a few times. You control your own destiny. I wanna make sure I'm being very transparent. Even though I showed in 2028, you can have almost $100,000 worth of shares. In 2028, you can still have 20,000 worth of shares. We control our own destiny. This is not guaranteed. It is not guaranteed that our shares are gonna be up, but we can make it guaranteed. We control our own destiny, and that's what Mr. Firestone meant in his statement, saying that once the notion sinks in that we are truly owners, that he feels like the sky is gonna be the limit. A lot of us are just not grasping the idea. We're still seeing drivers trash trucks. We're still seeing drivers do things to the company that cost the company money, but we understand that. We know that it's gonna be that 20% that just don't care. They just don't have a business mind frame. You know, most of us are just not business people. That's why we're here being employees. And now we've been presented this opportunity to where we can operate as owners because we are truly owners of this company. All right, any questions before I leave? All right, well, thank you guys for sitting. Before you leave, hold on, before you guys take off, I want to give you guys a time card so I can sign off on it. We are going to pay the drivers.
I already got them.
You already got them back?
Right here.
All right,
You just need to sign.
okay, great. Can you use your pen, sir? Sure. So what do you guys, I mean, anybody want to say what they feel about the company being 100% employee owned?
It's great. It's very rare, right?
It's very rare.
It's very rare.
It's
Yeah,
very
not too many
rare.
companies.
Not too many trucking companies.
Not too many.
Being that we're a company, owned and employed company, are we gonna venture out to going even further east?
That may be in the future. I have spoke to Mr. Benioff about that in the past. And the reason why KKW runs the 11 Western states is we're condensed. All of our trucks are in one location in the 11 Western. When you spread yourself thin, you have to have enough trucks. So of course that's the goal because we want to grow. We're going to outgrow the 11 Western. I'm going to talk this into existence. And yes, we will run 48 states one day because we're going to outgrow the 11 Western. So good way of thinking. The more we grow, then those opportunities can present themselves.
So I see a lot of other companies and like, man, I know we could do a lot better than they can.
Fun fact. Do you guys know who's the biggest? What company is the biggest 100% ESOP company? Who's the biggest?
East.
No.
You said the east side.
No, ESOP.
ESOP. Do you know who the biggest ESOP
ESOP.
employee-owned company is?
No.
Publix. Publix grocery chain
Wow.
is the biggest. Can you guys name any company that's 100% employee-owned?
Winco, I think.
Winco, my man.
Oh.
One more. It's actually a what you call a flight company? What you call it?
Airline?
Airline. There you go. It's an airline. It's another one.
Probably Delta.
Nope. Southwest. Southwest is employee owned. I have a driver who said he has a buddy work for Winco. He's been there about 10 years, and he has about $200,000 worth of stocks in 10 years.
So go drive for Winco, is that what you're saying?
Nah, we taking over. Don't jump. Nah, Winco ain't accelerated right now. We are.
Are we planning to buy any other company?
Huh?
KKW trying to buy?
Yes, we are gonna buy some people. And then one more thing I wanna say to you guys, I didn't say in my spiel, so what drivers are saying that we was going out of business, we this, we that. None of that is true. Those are people that just don't know what they're talking about. And if you go tell Mr. Benioff that, he'll turn red because he really get upset because he sat with Mr. Firestone throughout this whole process. And when the Knights and the Swifts and the Pams tried to buy us, he made it impossible for them to buy this company. The number he put on this company was ridiculous, and he made it very much viable for us. He wanted us to have it. He really wanted us to have it, and he believed. So again, one more time, please do whatever you can out there. We work as a team. If you guys need help with anything, please contact me. I tell every driver, some of you guys know, you can call me at 12 o'clock at night, 2 o'clock in the morning. I am going to help you be successful because I look at it like this. And the reason why my drivers in my class always do so good, because if you look good, I look good. So I'm going to make sure you look good so I can look good. It's a two-way street. I'm not just out there just working hard, making sure you guys look good. I'm getting some credit too, because the drivers that go through our classes, they do really, really good. So it's gonna be things crammed into you in this class that you're not gonna remember. Please don't throw Mr. Matt under the bus. I got thrown under the bus a lot of times, but operations and my boss know exactly how thorough I am. So he used to say, I know you went over that. So I created a test to make sure a driver didn't say I didn't teach him that or show him that. Let's truly work as a team. And everybody, thank you for considering a career. The new drivers, thank you guys for considering a career here with KKW. It's highly appreciated.
Thank you.
Thanks everybody. Have a good one.
Get money!
Let's get it.